First thing I want to do is remove the wheel. 21mm socket, remove all 5 of your lug nuts. And remove the wheel. Now with the wheel off, I have clear access to this jam nut. 22mm wrench, I'm going to break it free. You can use a rubber mallet on the wrench, hold the wrench so it doesn't go flying. There we go, that broke free now. All we have to do is unlock it. That'll let go of the outer tie rod. Now I'm going to take the cotter pin off for the castle nut. And let's remove the castle nut. 19mm socket, remove the castle nut. Okay, use a hammer right here on the knuckle. That'll pop the tie rod free. Oh, there we go. Now remove this. When you remove the outer tie rod, count the amount of turns that it took to take it off. That way when you put it back on, you can put it on the same amount of turns and it'll get you as close as possible to a good alignment. You will still have to go to an alignment shop after, but this will get you close. Okay, I had 13.5 turns, so I'll remember that number. So I have locking pliers on the inner tie rod with a 22mm socket. I'm going to attempt to remove this nut. A lot of times it gets seized on here, so if yours is stuck and this doesn't take it off, some heat might help from a torch. Looks like I will need that. So this is not coming off. It's just stripping out my locking pliers, and I'm just going to cut the nut off. You can either cut the tie rod. I mean, hopefully this doesn't even happen to you at all, and you don't have to resort to this, but if it does happen, getting the bellows boot off, the only way to get the boot off is to get this nut off. So I have to either cut the tie rod or cut the nut, remove it in one way or another. Now I'm going to turn it around so I can cut a little slice on the other side, and then hopefully I can just use a hammer and get this thing right off. Okay, I'm pretty sure that cut through on both sides. All right, I'm going to use an air hammer, but you can do this with a regular hammer or something else that you have that can punch this off. This is going to make things go faster. Okay, that's 1 and 2. I'm going to apply some ADCs to these threads. This will not just help the jam nut not seize up, but also the outer tie rod. Slide this on. I'm just going to go most of the way on. That way the outer tie rod has enough threads to grab onto. Now go ahead and thread on your outer tie rod the same amount of turns that it took to take it off. So for me it was 13.5, but for you it's going to be different. $13.5 gets me to the tie rod being upside down, so I'm just going to go 14. No matter what I do, it's still not going to be exactly the same as it was before. I'll still need an alignment, so from here on the alignment professional can take over. Remove this nut from the outer tie rod, and let's put it through the knuckle here. Press it through. Oops. Okay, reinstall the nut. Let's bottom it out and then torque it. 22mm socket, let's snug it up. Now let's torque it to 41 foot-pounds. Okay, 41 foot-pounds. Right there, perfect. Now let's snug up the jam nut. 22mm wrench. You don't have to go very tight on this, but tight enough to lock these two in. And I just like to straighten out the outer tie rod so that it's sitting perpendicular to the knuckle, not at an angle like this. All right. Now let's reinstall the wheel, and then you can go down to your local alignment shop and have this professionally aligned. Now let's get the wheel on. Start on all 5 of your lug nuts, snug them up, and then I'll torque them to 80 foot-pounds. All right.